Central Okanagan, si Milkman Nicola.
That's a lot of hot air coming from that side. After 8 years of this Liberal government, local animal shelters are filling up because their owners can't afford to keep their pets. In the last 2 months, the Central Okanagan Food Bank has added 350 seniors who need their help. Governor Macklem said, and I quote, "High inflation is making life more difficult for Canadians, especially those with low or fixed incomes." He also said, inflation in Canada increasingly reflects what's happening in Canada. When will the Liberal government finally raise its deficit spending blinders and see that its out-of-control spending is making life harder for seniors?
The Honourable Minister for Seniors.
Last 8 years, we have been there supporting Canadians, including seniors, by restoring the age of eligibility for retirement back to 65, by increasing the guaranteed income supplement, Mr. Speaker, that has helped over 900,000 seniors, that has lifted 45,000 seniors out of poverty, Mr. Speaker, by enhancing the Canada pension by making sure we're increasing the old age security pension. Mr. Speaker, all the measures that the party opposite opposed, unlike them, Mr. Speaker, will continue to make sure we have the backs of all Canadians, including seniors.
Honourable Member for Central Okanagan, Similkameen Nicola.
John and Sarnia and seniors in my riding can't eat those talking points. Now, Mr. Speaker, even Liberal wannabe leader Mark Carney, who moonlights as an advisor to the Prime Minister, knows that the Liberal government has it wrong. He knows their runaway deficit spending is inflationary. And he said, and I quote, "It's not all imported inflation. In fact, most of it is now domestically generated inflation." After 8 years of this government, residents in my riding are facing sky-high gas and propane bills and now must choose between heat, food, or their pets. If the Liberal government won't stop its spend deficits, Mr. Speaker, can they at least cancel the triple?
Deputy Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, our government will take no lessons from the Conservatives when it comes to protecting Canada's most vulnerable. Thanks to measures put in place by our government, hundreds of thousands of seniors have been lifted out of poverty and hundreds of thousands of Canadian children. And we've done that, Mr. Speaker, while maintaining Canada's AAA credit rating, while having the lowest debt and the lowest deficit in the G7. We can be compassionate and fiscally responsible at the same time. And that's what we're doing.
Hear, hear.
Le député de Lac-Saint-Jean.
Monsieur le Président, en ce moment même.
Mr. Speaker, right now, at Roxham Row, there are smugglers duping migrants in order to exploit them. Unaccompanied children are wandering the woods in the middle of winter. People are being incarcerated for indefinite periods. That's Roxham Road. That's what the federal government's supporting. Asylum seeker advocacy groups are calling for the suspension of the Safe Third Country Agreement. They're the ones who should be heard, and why does the federal government refuse to hear them? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister for Immigration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before answering the question, I just want to talk about the incident that happened in my community this morning in Orleans. I want to send my thoughts and prayers to all those being affected by it. A big thank you to first responders. And I just want to say that I'm here and I can help. As for the question, the situation at Roxham Road is a difficult one. It's not solving the problem. Canada shares the longest demilitarized border in the world. What we need to do is modernize our agreement, and that's what we're going to do. The Honourable Member for Lac-Saint-Jean. Mr. Speaker, let's hear from those who actually defend migrants. France Andre from the Action Committee of People Without Status said that suspending the Safe Third Country Agreement must be the first action taken by the government if it wants to show that Canada is not the 51st state of the United States when it comes to welcoming refugees. And he's right. The United States is part of the problem at Roxham. Its customs officers have become smugglers. The federal government must suspend the agreement to force Washington to move. Will it do so? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Mr. Speaker, listen, I'll be very candid. In my opinion, the Bloc Québécois lost its credibility when it says that asylum seekers cross the border as though they were going for a vacation, or they think that the asylum seeker situation is a joke. It's not a joke for us. We take